according to Chris Lowe, Lane Kiffin has lined up most of his offensive staff to join him at LSU. And I'm going to say this. I want to add the attribution again one more time. According to Chris Lowe, he's told them if they're not on the plane to Baton Rouge today, they won't have a spot on staff. Tom's eye roll, for those watching at youtube.com/cover3, is a perfect encapsulation of how this feels to cover this right now. The idea, as it is being reported, that Lane Kiffin sabotaging Ole Miss's season?
He's sabotaging their season. He's sabotaging their coaching search. He's all right. So my two takeaways from this. One, the offensive staff. Pete Golding staying. Defensive staff is staying. Line in the sand has clearly been drawn in that building on that coaching staff. That's my takeaway from that first part. The second part is the man who can't make a damn decision and has to keep pushing the deadline back and back and back is now telling his staff that they have until this time to make a decision or else they're not getting the job. It's almost like he holds himself to a different standard than he holds everybody else. Enjoy that $100 million LSU.
I think Lane can build a fine staff at LSU, whether he takes his entire Ole Miss offensive staff or none of them. It's Lane's offense.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a little bit more interested in what does Ole Miss do
on this?
Yeah.
Congrats, Pete Golding. You're going to be coaching in the college football playoff.
That's a question the committee might ask.
That sucks.
It could end up being a great story for Ole Miss. What if Pete Golding and the Rebels go on a run?
That would be storybook type stuff for sure. But
Pete Golding and anybody else who sticks around will 1,000,000% have the support of the fan base, who is going to be furious with Lane. So you're going to have that going in your direction. And if you have any kind of success, you're going to have their full support going into next year if you end up becoming the head coach. So I don't know.
Is he making the same ultimatum to the players?
He's not talking to the players, according to one of the reports I saw.
Like that doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not like Ole Miss doesn't have money, right? Like, okay, you can't come with me to LSU if you don't come right now. You can't leave now anyway. The portal doesn't open until January.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The coach things makes more sense because like some of those guys would be out of an SEC job, presumably, right? If if they didn't go with Lane. So he has leverage on the staff. He doesn't really have leverage on the players. Now, maybe if you're trying to rally the players,
don't play. Shut it down.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I just don't like any of this.
To whose benefit? For the player? Like, how does that appeal to the player? I totally get the appeal to the coach. Like again, it comes down to the leverage. Like, how are you? It's carrot and stick. I don't really know if you have either for the players.
Oh no, you're just promising. The players are going to have to deal with the new head coach. You are promising them a spot on the Lane Kiffin-LSU roster. Just players shut it down before bowl games in preparation of entering the transfer portal and going to spend next season somewhere else.
That is true. Typically, you don't see that on playoff teams in which they're leaving, in which they would not be receiving
we typically don't see leaving a playoff team for a conference rival.
Yeah, but typically these guys who shut it down are dudes who are going to make a lot more money elsewhere, right? It's a financially based decision, and they don't feel like they have anything else to play for. If you work the whole year to get in the playoff and you're making good money, and obviously Ole Miss spends really good money. They have an AD who believes in NIL and thinks it's the thing. And Keith Carter, they literally shut down and paused their stadium renovations. He's like, no, we're going to put our money into player dev, into NIL, into talent. I don't think what are you going to say? Like LSU's going to double your salary? No way.
you're trying to use way too much logic for a completely illogical situation involving illogical men doing illogical things.
Sure. I guess I'm addressing like, will it work? I don't think that works.
I don't think that works either.
On the coaches, it might.
But it's nasty. It is nasty, nasty, nasty work. Ugh.
A lot these last few years.
A lot. According to the reporting, and this definitely looks pretty solid. The Lane Kiffin introductory press conference at LSU will be Monday. So Lane Watch will have another day before we are officially.
What time is that at?
I don't know.
Neither do they.
What?
I'm just saying, how many times will it get pushed back?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I don't really. I feel like if we've learned anything, we can't really put a timeline on Lane Kiffin.
The chat is saying the LSU planes just took off to go pick him up. I don't know if that's true or not. But
well, remember they're sending 2 planes, right? Because we got to bring another one for the dog. That lunatic might be because there probably are some lunatics in the Cover 3 tailgate. I don't want to associate you with Lane Kiffin. That sociopath had his little Juice Kiffin Twitter account tweeting pictures of the SEC championship game field. Did you see that?
You know, the one thing we got right throughout this entire thing, Lane's going to make it about Lane.
Yes.
Like we laughed at this idea that Ole Miss was going to give him an ultimatum before the Egg Bowl. I was like, no, he's going to want his 72 hours of the whole sport focusing on Lane.
And he also gets the situation where he puts Ole Miss in a real bind, which increases the odds that Ole Miss has a bad season next year without him, which makes it look like he was propping that whole thing up.
And by the way, that's a conference rival who you were fighting for playoff spots against.
Yeah. The whole situation is effed, period. Like, it's all completely messed up.
If you're a Florida fan and you're watching this, I don't know how you can be like crazy disappointed you didn't get Lane Kiffin. Again, he might kill it at LSU. Everybody does, pretty much.
I mean, Brian Kelly probably would still be the head coach if he wasn't an asshole.
Yeah.
You know? He didn't win championships by year 4 like Saban and Miles and Orgeron. Not Miles. Like Saban and Miles and Orgeron did. But he made it. He was in the SEC title game. He was winning a good amount. Just, ugh. So what is that?
I know they're both SEC gigs, so they clearly have giant spotlights. But as far as the spotlight on you, where do you think it's brighter, Baton Rouge or in Oxford?
Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm. So, like, will the stories be about your trips to the yoga studio, or will they be about something else?
Well, if everybody who decides they want to air out all their Lane Kiffin dirty laundry over the next couple weeks.
That's already starting. Yeah.
That Ole Miss 24/7 board is worth $100 right now for a subscription, man. I'm telling you what, like that.
I saw Neil McCready said they got a sale going on.
Dude. And
if you want to go sign up for that Ole Miss 24/7 VIP, I mean, I want to say, I don't want to, Neil's done, he has done exhausting and thorough work throughout all of this insanity. So I want to make sure I get their sale price right because, it's this is going to be one of those times, right, where it happened after BK got fired at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Stories out of the woodwork.
Do you think Mike Slive would have allowed this?
No.
Like Sankey's not a gangster like Slive was to credit. Like that's Godfrey's line, right? But I think he's onto something here. I think Slive would have called in Jimmy and been like, "Hey."
Certainly possible, but I think we're in a different era now where, like, all this drama is good. because you're stealing the
It's also
spotlight.
because Ole Miss is not one of your Tiffany programs.
Yeah.
If it was happening to one of your, like, to me, there's a clear like 8.5, 9 in the SEC, and then there's kind of everybody else. You know, I don't know that, like, if the roles are reversed somehow, which they probably wouldn't be. Like, there's a reason Lane's leaving Ole Miss for LSU. It's because he doesn't think he can win a title at Ole Miss. He thinks he can win one at LSU. 100 years of history says it's about right. I guess
Last five, however.
you can't really argue the you can't really argue the opposite situation. It just wouldn't happen to LSU that way.
30 years of Ole Miss football, 7 coaches in that span, left for another SEC job, fired, left for another SEC job.
Yeah.
One of those fired for actual scandal. Another one of those with on-field performance plus maybe just some unsavory behavior,
Right.
along the way.